Valley FM, live from our studios as we are on a Sunday. Phil Mansell is our guest, the man who's written and illustrated Uncle Mungo and the Great Wallaby Painting Contest. I mean, it's a fascinating story, Phil. What came first, the story, the title, or
the story? I just sat down and it just came to me. I just literally wrote the whole story in one go,
right,
in a notebook, pages and pages of it. And it's a bit of a meandering, quirky tale, but it just seemed to work out in the end about how he has a present, Uncle Mungo has a present delivered from his sweetheart in Australia, but the part of the present is stolen by the pirate postman, who is delivering a cargo load of wallabies to the local zoo.
As you do.
As they do, yeah. And they all escape, and they find Uncle Mungo goes to see the zookeeper, and wallabies are always hopping around, as you know, and the only way to get them to stand still is to paint their portrait, of course.
Okay.
Because everyone knows that wallabies love having their portraits painted.
Right.
And so as soon as you get the canvas out and start painting, they stand still. You do the portrait, the zookeeper nets them.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Now, this is your first, as you said, self-published work. I mean, you said you found it tricky. I mean, what sort of work how do you have to do this to start? Do you have to literally start writing lots of stuff? Has it all got to be typed out and stuff?
You need a computer and you need the internet, obviously. I just typed the whole thing up from my notes. As I say, revised it several times. And once I had a manuscript on Word that I was happy with, I then downloaded one of the templates, which if you go to Amazon, they have a thing called Kindle Direct Publishing,
okay,
which is KDP for short. And they have several videos, as I say, several templates which you can download, depending on the size of book that you want to do. If you're just doing, say, a book of short stories or something, then you just copy it from Word into the template. You need a good cover, that's essential.
Right.
So it's best to maybe get a freelance artist or a professional illustrator in to do that, because that obviously is what sells the book from Amazon.
So what sort of sales do you expect? I mean, obviously, you can publish it, you can do all this work, you can put it up there. Then I suppose you've got to, promote it and things.
Well, that's the thing I'm doing now. Yeah, you can't just leave it there and hope for the best.
Yeah.
So I've been doing press releases, I'm doing this radio interview, I'm getting some coverage back in the UK, and I've made at least 4 promotional videos for YouTube, which I'm also sharing on my website.
Set to go viral then?
Oh, that would be so nice. But I mean, you've got to remember that 50 Shades of Grey was self-published originally, and that just broke all the records. Now, I'm not saying Uncle Mungo is another 50 Shades of Grey. It doesn't go anywhere near that sort of territory, but it's a start, and the more that you've got online, the more chance you've got of people finding your work and liking it and hopefully ordering it.
Because I was reading a little while ago, a very well-known Indian authoress. She actually started off with a blog. Writing blog things on the internet. Did you ever get into any of that?
I do blog. I've got a WordPress blog site, philmansell.com, and I write blogs on that. And I'm writing about the whole process of self-publishing and how I came to write and draw Mungo and the other books and plays. And a lot of people do collect all their blog pieces together and publish that as a book.
Right. I mean, this whole internet lark, it has completely turned the whole book writing, publishing thing on its head, hasn't it?
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's amazing. It's incredible.
Okay.
It's opened it up to everyone and anyone, really.
Now, you've obviously started off with this on the self-publishing thing. As you say, you've been writing for most of your life. Have you got, is there an adult story? If so, what sort of genre would you write if you were writing for an adult?
I've got the beginnings of a sort of unfinished novel. Well, I've got a complete novel. I was working in advertising in London, and I was made redundant.
Right.
And so I spent a year writing a novel about my adventures as a student in London, and that was, I think, 90,000 words. And I had it's a huge tome, and I've still got it. It's unpublished.
So this could possibly be your answer to 50 Shades of Grey or whatever it is.
Well, I don't think it quite gets into that territory. It's a bit cheeky in places, but right. Not as cheeky as 50 Shades.
Okay.
But there's that, and I've also started a novel about my days in Birmingham when I worked as a butcher's boy, and going out with my mates on a Friday night and all that sort of thing.
How much do you think writing like today or stories of your childhood is socially important for generations to come?
Oh, I think it's very important to write it all down. One of the children's books I've got is called When Grandad Was a Lad. And it's about how I grew up in a very different time, and I grew up in a back-to-back slum. We didn't have hot water, we didn't have a bathroom, we didn't have a toilet. You had to go down the yard. Right. It was a communal one which you shared with other neighbours. And a few years ago, I wrote a book called When Dad Was a Lad. But now that I'm a granddad, I've changed the title for my granddaughter, so that she will know how very different my childhood was compared to hers.